There's another comedy that I've been wanting to watch for quite a while. Is Spy. Came out in the last summer of 2015, and it's written and directed by Paul Feig, who has been getting a pretty big fan base. A lot of people really like him. I think he's just super funny. And my experience with him, I'm not too familiar with a lot of his work. I guess he hasn't done a ton. His big breakout was directing Bridesmaids, which I wasn't really a fan of. I thought that movie was way overhyped and not really that funny, but people love that one. And then after that, he did The Heat with Melissa McCarthy and Sandra Bullock. I heard that's really funny. I haven't seen it, so I can't really put my two piece in about that one or anything. But then this is another work that he's doing with Melissa McCarthy. So she's been in all three of his movies. This is the first one that he's wrote and directed. But yeah, everything I heard, I don't know if I talked to many people that had seen it and liked it, but all the reviews and everything that I'd read and heard on podcasts and everything said that it's super funny, kind of surprisingly so. And so, I was in the mood for a comedy. Watched it the other night, and the premise is kind of something sort of familiar, I guess, with a little twist. So obviously it's a spy film. Melissa McCarthy's character is Susan Cooper, and what she does is she is kind of the person that helps the spy, the field agent, as they're out on their missions. And the spy that she works with in the CIA is Bradley Fine, played by Jude Law. And so she kind of does, she like watches his back, like with the satellites, and she can kind of see what's going on, call in like support, like airstrikes or something like that if he needs it. So that's kind of her role, and they've been working together for a long time. And then the story revolves around a character played by Rose Byrne, Raina. She is gonna get involved with selling this like nuclear weapon or whatever. But the problem is that her and a bunch of other like of these bad villains, terrorists, know all of the spies that are in the field. So they know who like Bradley Fine is, and a couple of the other big agents like Rick Ford, who's played by Jason Statham. He's really funny in this, by the way. So they have to find somebody else that is unrecognizable to go out to the field and kind of help them out. And Susan volunteers to help follow Raina, figure out where she's going to sell this nuclear device and who she's going to sell it to. So that's the whole story. She's following her, but then it turns out she was actually really good and promising agent before she started helping Bradley as his kind of wingman or whatever. She was like a promising agent and never made it out to the field. And so as she gets sent to these missions, she, instead of just following Raina, she starts to kind of get more involved. And it's really funny. Jason Statham's character, Rick Ford, is kind of going rogue and trying to do what he wants as well to figure out what's going on with this nuclear weapon, but they kind of just keep running into each other and kind of disrupting each other's work. And eventually, Melissa McCarthy's character, Susan, like runs into Raina and actually convinces her that she's like a hired bodyguard that was hired by her father before he died. And so it gets really involved, and I guess that's the whole story. A lot of other good supporting cast members. Allison Janney is the director at the CIA. Marina Baccarin, who was just in Deadpool, she plays another field agent. Karen Walker. A couple other people pop up here and there. So yeah, I thought this was really funny. People weren't lying when they said it was super funny. It is. I was kind of surprised how much I was laughing. It's really good. It's a great just action comedy. It's rated R, so they go for the full violence. So the action scenes are realistic and pretty extreme. Really well done. But then there's a lot of language and swearing and stuff like that. Pretty vulgar, but I think some of those are like the funniest parts when it's just Melissa McCarthy and Rose Byrne when they get to that point where she convinces her she's her bodyguard. It's just I don't know. It's so funny. They're just slinging insults at each other, and it's hilarious. Like some of the lines that they come up with are so funny. Yeah, So I definitely recommend it. I'm giving it a 4.25 out of 5. So pretty high rating. One of the movies that I kept thinking of when I was watching it was Night and Day. It was a comedy, very similar style that starred Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz. So that was a really good action comedy. Had great action, another spy type film with great comedy interwoven in, and worked really well. This is very similar. I like that one. I like this one. So definitely recommend it. The one criticism that I had was at the very end. I won't say what happens, but I definitely thought it got too goofy. Like, it's a funny movie. There's a lot of comedy that works really well, but it's semi. I guess I don't know. It's not like super hardcore with the CIA spy aspect. Like, it's not like way serious about that. But the ending just kind of gets way goofier than the rest of the movie was. That wasn't as silly throughout the film until the end. It kind of goes off the rails a little bit too much. They could have backed it off a little bit more. That would have been fine. I think, yeah, they just took a step too far here and there at the end. So it doesn't ruin the movie at all. It's still definitely worth a watch. I mean, it's still getting a really good rating, but I think it probably would have been like at least a little bit higher rating for me, 4.5, maybe 4.75, if they didn't go a little too far at the end there. But that's just a little nitpick. Definitely worth watching if you want to see a great action comedy, a female-led comedy, something a little lighter, fair, something different. I definitely recommend it. All right, I'll be it.